program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
I forbid you to set the crown upon that impostor's head. I am the king.
Upon my life, Lord Hertford, pay no attention to His Majesty. It's his sickness that's upon him again. Seize that vagabond.
Take your hands off him.
The world is a carousel of color. Wonderful, wonderful color.
Walt Disney presents brought to you by Eastman Kodak Company. Kodak, whose dependable Kodak film and exciting Instamatic cameras bring you pictures you'll treasure today and for years to come.
The world is so full of a number of things. I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. The world is so full of beauty and so full of laughter. And tenderness. Full of so many things we can save in pictures. The world is so full of adventure and excitement and fun. The world is so full of smiles and of grandeur. The world is so full of love, full of so many things we can save in pictures to enjoy again and again. And remember, your pictures deserve the superb quality of Kodak film. When you buy film, be sure the name Kodak is on the box.
This week, we bring you the closing chapters of our story, The Prince and the Pauper. Long live the rightful king. And now your host, Walt Disney.
When I was a boy, there was a saying, a belief, that somewhere in this world there was a person who looked exactly like each of us. True or not, it made a good story. And it was on this premise that Mark Twain based his story, The Prince and the Pauper. Hi, Walt. Well, I see you're up to it again. Well, I sort of enjoy it, you know, and I fool a lot of people. Well, I guess better leave. Goodbye. Not a bad fellow when you once get to know him, and I've known him for years and years. Now about The Prince and the Pauper. It's the story of two boys in ancient London, born on the same day. They were exactly alike, except that one was born to royalty and the other to a pauper family. Then, as only Mark Twain could do it, he had the boys meet and decide to trade places. Each was curious to see how the other one lived. Of course, it was only supposed to be for an afternoon. But the ailing and inconsiderate Henry VIII chose that precise time to die. The young pauper, dressed as the prince, suddenly found himself proclaimed King of England, while the rightful king was wandering the streets dressed in pauper's rags. His problems comprise the story we are about to present, titled Long Live the Rightful King. So now, to set the stage for the concluding episode, here is our storyteller.
News of King Henry's death spread through the streets of London and brought but little sorrow to the people, for many had considered him a tyrant. But to his son, dressed in pauper's rags, it brought both sorrow and desperation. Barred from the royal premises, he had but one friend, a slightly bemused soldier of fortune.
Wait! You know the way to the palace at Westminster?
With my eyes closed.
And tomorrow I can return to the palace, for you shall guide me.
There, my liege. The clothes I purchased for you on London Bridge. I trust you'll find them to your measure.
Well, somewhat coarse to the touch, but at least they're better than these pauper's rags.
As soon as you've donned them, we must get mounted and on our way.
Yes, and make straight for Westminster to reclaim my throne. By the position of the sun, we're traveling east by south.
That's right.
But why?
It's the way to Hendon Hall.
Hendon Hall! We should be making straight for Westminster Palace.
No. It's a much better plan for you to come home to Hendon Hall with me. And once I'm reinstated there, we can send a message to the palace to my father, proclaiming that the true king is found and that his twin impersonator's a fraud.
I think this may be good advice. But whom does your father know at my court?
Well, there's always Sir Humphrey Marlowe, the old king's lieutenant of kitchens or stables or something.
That pauper boy. I wonder how he is faring. If not rotting in some dungeon. It suits me well, this life. Ever since you began helping me to regain my memory, each day becomes more pleasant.
Heaven be praised, Your Majesty. You think you're now fully recovered?
Oh, near enough. My fears are all gone. Misgivings have now faded away, embarrassments departed.
Oh, good, my lord.
To be truthful, I find it a joy to be conducted to bed in state at night and dressed with careful ceremony in the morning.
But that's only your right, Your Majesty.
Too true. And I do so enjoy the right, my good John, of marching to dinner, attended by a glittering procession of gentlemen-at-arms and officers of state. But guess what is my greatest pleasure?
What, my lord?
When I'm offended, to turn upon an earl, or even a duke, and see him tremble at my look. That affords me boundless amusement. The Earl of Hertford, the Lord Protector, begs audience of His Majesty. Let him enter, so long as his business is brief.
Your Majesty.
Well?
The final draft of the order of procedure at your coronation. If it please Your Majesty, we will discuss it item by item.
A lengthy and irksome process. Affairs of state must not interfere with my leisure hours unless, of course, you wish the return of my sickness.
That is the last thing, my good lord.
Then tomorrow there's time enough. While you are here, please inform me of something.
Anything you ask, Your Majesty, if I can answer.
How many gentlemen-at-arms have I in my guard?
Why, 50, sir.
Then double that number.
If that is your command.
How many servants have I in attendance?
400, Your Majesty.
Far too few. Treble them.
Triple them, he said. Triple them. Why, that's 1,200.
Special place. Special day. And a most unusual camera. The most automatic camera Kodak has ever made. And yet it lets you create just the pictures you want. The Kodak Instamatic 804 camera loads instantly. Wind it up and you store up enough power for 20 shots automatically. It sets itself for the right exposure, even in changing light. And tells you automatically when it's time to use flash. Then you just pop on a flash cube and take 4 flash pictures without changing bulbs. The pictures you want can be yours to enjoy automatically with a Kodak Instamatic 804 camera. A great gift, even for yourself.
There's the village, sire. And over there, close by. That's Hendon Hall.
It looks an imposing property.
It is indeed. Although a humble abode compared to your Majesty's palace. Let's go. Welcome to Hendon Hall, Your Majesty. Father! Arthur! It's Miles! I've come home! You! What's the matter? Don't you know me? It's Miles. What do you want? You were not invited here.
What do you mean, invited? This is my home. Get my father at once. Your home? You were disinherited in Father's will.
What do you mean, Father's will?
He's dead. Arthur is also dead. And as far as I'm concerned, you're dead too. Bodkin, candlestick maker, sentenced to be jailed for 10 years for poaching in the royal forest at Windsor. Petitions Your Majesty's clemency.
10 years for poaching? What did he catch?
A brace of rabbits, Your Majesty.
Now to more pleasant business. It is my desire and pleasure to confer upon my uncle, the Earl of Hertford, Lord Chancellor, Lord Protector, a title more in keeping with his high office and in recognition of his invaluable services to me in the art of kingship. A task he has had to work mighty hard at. From this day forward, he shall rank as Duke, Duke of Somerset. Edward Seymour, Viscount Beauchamp, Earl of Hertford. Arise, my lord, Duke of Somerset.
want to get around the really modern way, you need two things: a one-man gyrocopter and a Kodak Instamatic movie camera. The camera that loads instantly and shoots a brand new kind of movies called Super 8. So improved, they make other movies look old-fashioned. Take it from Kodak. They're the movies of the future. Guess he's never seen a camera like this before. Automatic, power wind, zooms at a touch. Everywhere you take this camera, you'll get a great big welcome. And just wait till you see your movies on a Super 8 projector. Enjoy life the really modern way. Get a Kodak Instamatic M5 movie camera. Gyrocopter, optional at extra cost.
Jump down, my liege. If our horse isn't fed, I'm afraid he won't take us any further.
At this moment, I am truly envious of that horse. I wish I could eat grass.
Oh. I saved this for you. And, this to go with it.
A real egg. Where did you get it?
Well, this morning, while you were sleeping in the haystack, I heard a hen cackling.
And you stole it.
I must confess, I did break your Majesty's law.
Yes, and I shall see you stand trial for it, too. But meanwhile, how do I eat it? Oh, it's raw.
Huh. Now watch. Put a hole in here. And another one here.
You certainly have learned some strange manners on your travels, Sir Miles. How far is it to London, do you think?
Oh, about 15 miles.
It seems an eternity since I was last there. Is this ever going to end, do you think?
Oh, don't fret, my liege.
What are they building up on the hill?
I don't know. Let's see. Good souls. What is the bonfire for?
Why, there'll be blazes of bonfire on every hilltop in the land tonight. Dancing, gallivanting, and toasting till dawn.
Indeed. Well, what is the celebration for?
For? Have you been in a trance?
Why, haven't you heard? Tomorrow's the coronation of the new king, Edward VI.
Aye.
The coronation?
What will you do once you're over the wall, Your Majesty?
Go to my apartment and tear the clothes off that vain impostor. I'll create such a stir in the palace as not been seen since the arrest of Anne Boleyn.
Grow at seed and blow at mead and spring the wood as new. Sing cuckoo.
In a few hours, you'll be riding in state to your coronation. And by this time tomorrow, you'll have been crowned king. It seems hardly believable. Like one of the tales an old priest once told me. But aren't you nervous? Not of the future. Only when I think of the past.
Captain, there's an impostor in the palace. He's not the true king, and he must not be crowned. Be off with him. You'll all hang for treason.
think it was a funeral by the look of him.
My lord, this is no time for downcast looks. The people are uneasy. Lift up your head and smile at them. A plague upon that crazy Pauper woman if she'll upset you.
That woman was my mother.
Good heavens! He's gone mad again. Come on.
This is Motor Trend Magazine's Car of the Year award and the top cat that's won it. Now Mercury Cougar takes a new leap forward. Meet Cougar XR7, a royal new King Cougar. Luxury with claws. From Mercury, the man's car. This is a look of handcrafted European elegance. Rich, glove-soft leathers with vinyl trim. Standard in the new XR7. Fuel and oil pressure gauges, standard. Toggle switches, standard. Tachometer, overhead console, all standard. Cougar XR7, America's first luxury sports car at a popular price. Mercury, the man's car. See your Mercury man and drive the new Cougar XR7.
Maintain the things that are restored, punish and reform what is amiss, and confirm what is in order.
Fools! Idiots! They're crowning a pauper instead of a king! Why won't you listen to me? You're worse than fools! You're traitors!
And as thou dost this day set a crown of gold upon his head, so enrich his royal heart with thine abundant grace.
Arise, Miles Hendon, Earl of Kent. Edward of England dubs you a peer.
Nor did the young king forget what he had learned of the suffering and the oppression of his people. And the reign of Edward VI was a most merciful one for those harsh times.
Well, as bad as they seemed at the time, his experiences as a pauper gave the young king an understanding of his people that proved a blessing. And the title of this closing episode, Long Live the Rightful King, became the hope and the prayer of all his subjects. Now, we'll be back shortly with a bit about our next program.
El Blanco, El Blanco.
Our next program brings you the legend of a very special horse.
A white horse. It was a big white horse. It was a big white stallion.
He was a rain god.
And to tell you about him, Walt presents this bright young quartet from Mexico. El Blanco's life is one exciting predicament after another. He's threatened first by alligators, and then a jaguar. Even the coyotes try to catch him. And that's not all. The real villain is Lopez. You can see he's a bad guy because he always wears a black shirt. From the Mexican tropics to the high and dry plains, El Blanco finds danger. Don't miss this unusual animal adventure. Come with us down to Mexico for The Legend of El Blanco on Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color.
El Blanco!
Fresh from Vogue magazine, looks that click by fashion designer Donald Brooks. Plus bright new cameras by Kodak, Instamatic S10, Instamatic S20. S for style, in cameras so newly slim, so small, so chic. They make whatever scene you make and make it swing. By day, or even after dark, this light-of-hand clickery from Kodak is always in fashion. Open, drop,
Ready. Shoot. For looks that click around the world. For tiny new cameras that take big, colorful slides and snapshots. See the Kodak Instamatic S10 and S20 cameras. Complete outfits less than $30. S for style at your Kodak dealers.
Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color has been brought to you by Eastman Kodak Company. For Kodak dealers everywhere, who invite you to come in and see the instant-loading Instamatic movie cameras that will make your movies easier to shoot, and now, more than ever, the nearest thing to life itself.
It's the science-horrific comedy breakthrough of the year. It's Walt Disney's fabulous formula for fun, with Fred MacMurray as the absent-minded professor. And on the same theater program, it's the Shaggy Dog.
My son isn't any werewolf. He's just a big, baggy, stupid-looking shaggy dog.
See Walt Disney's The Shaggy Dog and The Absent-Minded Professor in a theater near you.